I didn't want to get with a white woman because I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan Majors.
There you go. See, come on, Katt.
Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not going to act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart.
You know, it is a shakedown. It is a targeted attack, but Shannon needs to have some accountability because he gave them something to shake down. He gave them something to target by making poor choices.
All right, buckle up, because you are not going to believe the wild ride we're about to take. We're talking celebrity smackdowns, the clash of titans in the sports world, and a courtroom drama that's more gripping than any thriller. And right in the middle of this glorious chaos, the one and only Katt Williams, the comedy king who just dropped a truth bomb on Shannon Sharpe's massive $50 million lawsuit that sent the internet into a full-blown frenzy. Trust me, you do not want to miss how this unfolded.
Katt, because he told me. He said they're going to come for you. And I was like, Katt, come on, Katt. I mean, I just, you know.
So, what started as your average, run-of-the-mill, not really Instagram Live, has exploded into this massive conversation. We're talking big picture stuff here. What responsibility do brands have? How does the legal system really work behind closed doors? Are there different rules for different people in the media? And maybe the biggest question of all, what role do comedians play today? Are they just there to make us laugh, or are they holding up a mirror to society in ways we never expected? We're going to dissect every single angle, from endorsement deals hanging in the balance to the nitty-gritty of jury selection, all while keeping our finger on the pulse of what's happening right now. Let's dive in.
And he wasn't at a strip club, but his text messages have been revealed, and it's quite embarrassing for ESPN. So he used to be on First Take, and now they are putting that on ice.
Picture this. It's a little after 11 p.m. on the East Coast, what Katt hilariously calls prime insomnia theater. You've got a few thousand dedicated fans tuned into his Instagram Live. Not bad, right? But then bam! Within just 17 minutes, that number skyrockets to over 230,000 viewers. That's more eyeballs than major pop stars and even NBA postgame shows were pulling in at the same time. How did that happen? Well, two things. First, the algorithm noticed something was different. People were actually sticking around and watching.
I do not think that the element is true. I do think that he has been behaving sloppily, and so that has caught up with him.
And second, the digital wildfire spread like crazy. Followers started tagging their friends nonstop. He's going after Shannon Sharpe. Get in here now! That's the kind of viral chain reaction that puts you right at the intersection of shocking comedy and our collective obsession with live drama. By the time the sun came up, clips from that stream were everywhere. And trust me, each one was more explosive than the last.
So he took a screenshot of a text message, which clearly had to have been written by someone else, maybe his lawyer or his PR team. It wasn't written by him. And then he shared it onto X. So people were laughing at him going, you're not supposed to share. You're supposed to make it sound like it actually was written by you.
You know what that meant? Network producers were scrambling during their morning coffee, trying to figure out how to even talk about this story. It wasn't theirs, but suddenly, it was the biggest thing everyone was talking about. To really understand why Katt's take hit so hard, we need to rewind about 6 weeks to when this lawsuit first dropped. This anonymous plaintiff, Jane Doe, alleged a pattern of serious misconduct at some high-roller retreat in Vegas, claiming it ultimately derailed her career. This wasn't just a small claim, folks.
So it appears the truth is that Shannon Sharpe essentially quit before he was fired. He wanted to avoid people kind of laughing at him or saying he was fired. Again, I don't wish him bad. I hope that he finds happiness. I don't particularly take him to be a happy or a well-rounded person.
They slapped a $50 million price tag on the damage, arguing it covered everything from emotional distress to lost opportunities and a need to send a serious message. Sharpe's team didn't waste any time firing back, calling the whole thing a fabricated scheme designed to get a massive payout. Initially, a quiet settlement seemed likely, but then Sharpe hinted at a potential 9-figure defamation lawsuit of his own. Translation: this was going to be an all-out legal war.
She charging $25K a cheek, and it ain't no cheeks. No cheeks, and she ain't got no lips. She probably whistle when she talk.
Suddenly, court dockets in Clark County were flooded. Protective orders, subpoenas flying towards encrypted messaging apps, and witness lists that looked like a who's who of the Vegas nightlife scene. It was procedural drama on steroids. But even that couldn't compete with the sheer velocity of Katt's unscripted commentary. He kicked things off with a jab so precise, so insightful, that people are already studying its brilliance in journalism classes. Seriously, how good was it?
I know an auntie right now with all ass 49. Got more dimples than a golf ball. You will love it over there.
He said, and listen to this. America, understand this. When you hand a retired tight end 50 microphones, 3 networks, and enough tequila to sponsor the Cinco de Mayo parade, don't act surprised when controversy follows him home like a stray pit bull. Boom! Viewers were typing their reactions in all caps faster than their phones could handle it. He kept going. Y'all love that man's hot takes until the thermostat breaks, and suddenly you blaming the weather for being too honest. Mic drop.
You should have knew as soon as she said put a big black baby in her what time it was. She don't even want the baby to grow. She want the baby to come out your size soon as she have it.
That one line? It went viral instantly. Imitation tweets, hilarious memes, those 5-second TikToks you can't stop watching, it racked up tens of millions of views before lunchtime. There's just something about the way Katt connects. His sentences become instant sound bites, social media gold, but beneath the comedy, there was some surprisingly sharp legal analysis happening.
If you're 54, you have no reason to be talking to a 19-year-old. She's 22 now. Shannon is 56. I'm so glad that audio of Monique went viral yesterday.
And that's where things got really interesting. Who expected a comedian known for his takes on conspiracy theories and the absurdity of everyday life to suddenly break down complex legal concepts? Midstream, Williams started explaining the difference between compensatory and punitive damages with a clarity that some law professors would envy. He said, compensatory is the price tag for what you lost. Punitive is the judge saying, I want interest with attitude. Brilliant, right?
Because it's true. Sit your old down and go find somebody your age and build a family with them. As I said yesterday, men, we need stability and we need discipline.
He framed that $50 million not just as a number, but as a public relations verdict before the actual verdict. That explanation went viral among college students cramming for their business law finals. Talk about an unexpected study aid. Almost immediately, the world of sports marketing started to feel the tremors. Sharpe is tied to at least 4 major endorsement deals.
And she says that she alleges that it was brutal, like it was very it was aggressive.
We're talking a cognac brand playing on his well-known love for it, a high-end suit maker dressing him for TV, a health supplement company banking on his Hall of Fame physique, and an audio equipment brand linked to his massive podcast empire. Now here's the catch. Every single one of those contracts likely has morality clauses, those little bits of fine print that can trigger if things go south publicly. As Katt so pointedly put it, try selling luxury suits while your reputation is on layaway. Ouch.
Now, this woman is alleging that Shannon Sharpe her multiple times over the course of a 2-year relationship. The relationship that they had was
Suddenly, financial analysts started revising their predictions for these companies. Within 24 hours, one of Sharpe's apparel partners quietly removed all his images from their website, redirecting everyone to a generic spring collection. Industry insiders saw this as a clear sign of preemptive damage control, even though official statements were nowhere to be found. Over at ESPN headquarters, it was like a silent fire alarm was going off. Executives were in a tough spot. Ignore Katt's comments and risk looking like they're condoning something, or address them and potentially fuel the fire?
Because at that point, she said that they were in a they were in an actual relationship. They were in Vegas together. So when that happened, she had already kind of been, in this thing where he's verbally abusive, allegedly, but she thought that they were together.
Ultimately, they walked a tightrope. On air, panelists made vague references to the lawsuit, but quickly pivoted to the NFL draft, never mentioning Katt's name. That didn't sit well with some viewers online who accused the network of protecting a big star. But the network's lawyers likely advised them to keep quiet given the active litigation. Even one wrong word could become evidence in a defamation case.
He tells her and threatens her allegedly to say that he will her if she ever does that again. But the part of it, she says that she was allegedly anally twice and that it was very, very brutal.
Sharpe's own social media told a story of its own through complete silence. For 4 whole days, 96 hours, nothing. No workout videos, no cigar pics, no inspirational quotes. For an influencer who's used to daily engagement, that digital blackout speaks volumes, according to behavioral psychologists. Conspiracy theories started swirling, hush money negotiations, an imminent countersuit. Meanwhile, Sharpe's team issued a carefully worded email to a few outlets, saying they trust the legal process and dismissing Williams' commentary as just noise. That last word really riled up Katt's fans, who don't take kindly to their idol being called mere background chatter. Now, let's switch gears and talk about the legal side of things. In Nevada civil courts, it's all about the preponderance of evidence. Basically, tipping the scales to just over 50% certainty. Defense lawyers often use this to their advantage, dragging out the discovery process to drain the plaintiff's resources. Katt shone a light on this tactic, joking, "If you've got Louis Vuitton suitcase luggage for every court date, time is your co-counsel." He urged everyone to pay attention to the actual court filings, not just the podcast gossip, pointing out that jury selection might depend more on how many potential jurors saw his Instagram rant than on any official document. Legal scholars agreed. Studies show that pretrial media attention can definitely sway judicial outcomes, especially in high-profile celebrity cases. Think back to the Depp Heard defamation trial. Even though it was a Virginia case, it played out like a reality show on TikTok, with viral clips and fan edits shaping public perception of every witness. Katt directly referenced this, warning Sharpe's team, "If your legal team can't manage TikTok, depositions won't save you." And that stings because it's true. Reputational damage can set in long before the jury hears opening arguments. As Katt's commentary continues to echo, voices are coming from everywhere. Advocacy groups are raising concerns that this kind of comedic mockery risks downplaying serious allegations, even if it's wrapped in disclaimers. They worry that the laughter might prevent survivors from coming forward. On the other hand, free speech advocates are defending Williams, pointing to a long history of comedians taking on powerful figures in scandals. They argue that he was making fun of potential inconsistencies, not denying any wrongdoing. As he put it, jokes about contradictions ain't verdicts about guilt. This creates a really interesting debate about the role of comedy in society. Does it help us see hypocrisy, or does it just normalize insensitive behavior? Right now, it seems like the public is pretty evenly divided. Even other celebrities are weighing in. Retired NFL star Chad Johnson tweeted a cryptic thumbs-down emoji at Williams, later clarifying he respects Sharpe, but also believes the courts will decide the facts. But then you have comedian Dave Chappelle, who apparently texted Williams during the live stream, seemingly encouraging him to keep breaking down how corporate America uses lawsuits. A screenshot of this message popped up on a fan page, though its authenticity hasn't been confirmed. Real or not, it highlights a growing trend where comedians are treating legal controversies like prime material, right up there with politics, blurring the lines between traditional journalism and live, unfiltered commentary. Behind the scenes, Sharpe's legal team is reportedly considering a potential defamation counterclaim, not just against Jane Doe, but also, if the rumors are true, against media outlets or individuals who knowingly spread false information. Could that include Williams? It's unlikely unless they can prove actual malice, which is a high bar. But even the possibility can have a chilling effect. Katt's representatives responded proactively, stating that their client welcomes deposition under oath should any party test his veracity. That kind of bravado is classic Katt fearless, ready for a fight and up for any intellectual sparring match. Now, let's talk about the business side of podcasting. While Sharpe's Club Shay Shay downloads are still strong, advertisers are getting nervous. Two smaller sponsors, one in fitness supplements and another in streetwear, have put their mid-roll ad buys on hold while these legal issues play out. They're citing brand safety algorithms that flag any content related to high-profile SA cases. If bigger advertisers follow suit, Sharpe could see a significant drop in revenue, potentially 6 figures a month, which is a big hit even with his diverse income streams. Legal experts point out that podcast ad contracts often have clauses that allow advertisers to pull out if an episode crosses certain controversy lines. So, even if Sharpe wins in court, the short-term financial damage could be substantial, adding to legal fees that are already projected to be over $3 million. Meanwhile, Katt's star is soaring. Ticket resale platforms are reporting a 30% jump in prices for his upcoming tour dates. Streaming services are seeing a surge in viewers revisiting his older specials, and the rumor mill is buzzing that Netflix has already reached out about filming his next hour. For a comedian who thrives on controversy, this alignment of publicity and opportunity is like striking comedic gold. From a sociological perspective, this whole thing shows how digital media has leveled the playing field. 20 years ago, commentary on an NFL legend's legal troubles would have been filtered through network news anchors and newspaper op-eds. Today, a comedian with a smartphone in his hotel room can completely reshape the news cycle while traditional media scrambles to catch up. Viewers aren't waiting for polished reports anymore. They're hungry for raw, unfiltered reactions that feel authentic, even if they're not always perfectly accurate. That immediacy is both powerful and potentially dangerous because nuance often gets lost in the rush of virality. Looking at the legal calendar, there's a crucial status hearing coming up in 3 weeks to address Sharpe's motion to dismiss some of the negligence claims. If the judge denies the dismissal, then discovery goes into overdrive. That means sealed documents could potentially leak. Screenshots, text messages, security camera footage. Each potential leak becomes more fuel for the commentary fire. Katt himself predicted this towards the end of his live stream, saying, "Screenshots are digital cockroaches. Once you see one, trust me, there's a colony behind the fridge." TikTok users have even turned that line into a meme, with montages of iCloud backups, creating a secondary trend making fun of our massive digital footprint. Insurance is another layer to this whole saga. High-profile broadcasters often have personal liability insurance, but those policies can have exclusions for intentional misconduct or SA allegations. If the insurance companies refuse to cover Sharpe, his out-of-pocket expenses could skyrocket. Some insiders are even whispering that this financial pressure might be a bigger motivator for a settlement than anything else, regardless of guilt or innocence. Sometimes, the economics of litigation outweigh the principles involved when the costs become astronomical. However, settling also comes with its own set of problems, as critics might see it as an admission of guilt. It's a real catch-22, which is why these celebrity cases often turn into long, drawn-out legal chess matches rather than quick resolutions. In the midst of all this legal maneuvering and media frenzy, it's easy to forget the human element. Jane Doe remains anonymous, protected by the legal system, yet she's also the subject of intense online scrutiny. Her supporters argue that her anonymity shields her from further harm. Skeptics claim it hinders transparency. Williams touched on this complex issue, saying, "Blindfold justice sees no faces, but social media lifts the blindfold, then sells tickets." While his phrasing rubbed some people the wrong way, it resonated with many who are tired of seeing serious legal matters play out like reality TV shows. Sports culture loves a good comeback story. Fans are often willing to forgive transgressions if the athlete's performance remains stellar. If Sharpe emerges from this legal battle unscathed, he could try to reframe himself as a victim of cancel culture who bravely fought back. But Katt's viral critique complicates that narrative significantly by preemptively mocking any potential redemption arc. "Don't give me the comeback of the year speech while the ink's still wet on the dismissal orders," he said. Williams has made it much harder for Sharpe to garner public sympathy. PR strategists now have a much tougher task ahead of them. Clearing Sharpe's name in court won't automatically erase the comedic shorthand that's now etched into the public consciousness. Even educational institutions are taking notice. One media studies syllabus now includes a module titled The Katz-Williams Effect: Academic Interventions in Real-Time Litigation. Students will be analyzing how unscripted satire shapes the legal atmosphere, considering the ethical implications, and developing alternative communication strategies for public figures facing similar crises. This academic recognition signals a shift. Comedians aren't just entertainers anymore. They're becoming influential voices whose commentary can directly impact reputations. So where does all this lead? Courtroom schedules, public opinion polls, sponsor financial reports, and social media analytics are all interconnected pieces of this puzzle. Each one influences the others. A damaging leak could cause sponsors to bail. Sponsors leaving could increase the pressure to settle. Settlement rumors could fuel more of Katt's commentary. It's a never-ending feedback loop, amplified by algorithms that reward the dopamine rush of controversy. As of right now, Sharpe's silence continues, creating a palpable tension. Will he release a carefully crafted video statement through his lawyers? Will he make an appearance on Club Shay Shay flanked by his legal team? Or will he use ESPN's morning show for a more controlled message? Whatever he chooses, he has to consider the comedic demolition that Williams has already unleashed. Katt turned the spotlight into a laser beam. Any misstep will be magnified through the lens of comedy, dissected by millions eager for the next punchline. And Katt himself shows no signs of backing down. Close sources say he's already working on follow-up material, fueled by the information he's getting from his audience. Every direct message becomes potential material. Every court filing provides new fodder. That constant adaptability makes him incredibly unpredictable, a PR team's worst nightmare when trying to control a narrative. For those of you watching at home, keep an eye on 3 key dates: the upcoming dismissal hearing, the deadline for the preliminary witness list, and the rumored release window for Katt's next special. Those milestones will likely dictate the major turning points in this saga. If the case isn't dismissed, expect some serious fireworks during the discovery phase. If it is dismissed, the plaintiff's legal team could appeal, leading to a whole new round of headlines. And on the comedy side, a new Netflix special could solidify Katt's roast into a cultural touchstone, potentially immortalizing Sharpe's legal troubles, regardless of the final verdict. Ultimately, the collision of outrage comedy and sports litigation is a perfect example of the modern media landscape. The blurry lines between entertainment and news, the flattened hierarchy where a smartphone can outshine a studio, and legal battles being fought just as fiercely in the comments section as they are in the courtroom. Katt Williams didn't just take shots at Shannon Sharpe, he redrew the entire battlefield for public perception. Sharpe's reputation, Jane Doe's credibility, and the broader conversation around serious allegations are now all caught up in this new dynamic. As the legal filings pile up and the punchlines land harder, stay tuned. This story is evolving minute by minute, and we'll be here to break down every development, every sponsor move, and every blistering monologue so you can understand who's really winning the war of narratives. Both inside and outside the courtroom,